Welcome wizards, witches and muggles to another video. This one is going to be a bit of a different video from what I usually do. Now it isn't going to be a wand review video or a character breakdown video. This is going to be me talking about my thoughts on both the books and movies. Now, quick disclaimer, it's been a long time since I've read the books, so I don't remember a whole lot about them, but I'm just going to go into this. So, just quick thing about me, I was born in 2003, so I did kind of grow up with a lot of the later movies. Obviously the first two I wasn't around, so yeah. The first Harry Potter movie I watched in cinemas was Order of the Phoenix, and I just love that. Anyway, growing up, I read the books. My mum used to read them to me as a kid, and yeah, I really love the books personally. Now, for those who don't know, I mean, I have said this a couple of times in some of my previous videos. I'm a big movie lover, so I really do love the Harry Potter movies personally. I do actually have a box set of the Harry Potter movies here, which come in like a two box display. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers I've seen like round who talk about like the movies being like not that good. Personally, myself, a lot of people will disagree with me on this, and I respect that. But personally, myself, the movies can't be any longer than at least 2 hours long. So you're not going to be able to fit everything in a book. Now, I could say that I've always said to myself, they could have done every movie in like 2 parts, I suppose, to fit everything in. But at the same time, the movies for me are perfectly good the way they are. And there are a lot of things the movies do better, in my opinion. Like, for example, the scene in Prisoner of Azkaban. Lupin has turned into a werewolf, and Sirius is a dog. Snape comes out of the Whomping Willow and literally shields himself in front of the trio. Now, in the book, that doesn't happen. Snape is unconscious throughout the whole time, and Harry and Hermione go off to save Sirius at the lake, or is it? It's the Great Lake in the book, but it's just a little lake in the film. However, in the film, you'll notice that Hermione tries to go after Harry, but Snape stops her. Now, that personally, I don't even mind that. Like, that for me, that is done perfectly fine. The Prisoner of Azkaban movie, to me, and probably a lot of other people as well, is by far a lot of people's favourite movie. The first two movies, we'll just quickly talk about the first two movies. The first two movies I enjoy a whole lot. They are obviously kids' movies. I'm 21 now, so not a lot of people aren't interested in that. But the first two movies were released, I wasn't around, so to a lot of people, they're a lot of nostalgic to people. Personally, for me, growing up with the Harry Potter movies is just something that I think I'm quite blessed about. And the first two movies are good, but personally, every time I watch Harry Potter, I will watch them, but sometimes I just kind of skip the first two movies and go on to the third. That's only because I've watched them that much, so I know a lot about them. But yeah, the first two movies are good still, though. But we'll get to Goblet of Fire now. Goblet of Fire is a lot of people's most or least favourite Harry Potter movie, simply because it's the least faithful to the book. And again, I'm going to say this. I could not care less if the Harry Potter movie isn't faithful to a book. The books were written by J.K. Rowling, or Rowling, whatever the hell you want to call her. The films are directed by 4 different directors. Now, I'm not saying, I think the Goblet of Fire director didn't actually read the books. I could be wrong. But, yeah, you don't have, there's a lot of things, like movies and stuff, that aren't based on like the original source material that I think were kind of better. For example, I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead. Obviously, the comics came first, and was the TV series. The Walking Dead, for me, the TV series did things so much better than the comics, and that's how I feel with Harry Potter. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of comments on this video telling me that I'm wrong, that the books are just way better. I'm not saying the books aren't great. Personally, the books are better than the movies, but on the bright side, I'm going to talk about this in a bit, but I'm going to talk about the Harry Potter TV series and my thoughts on that, because I've got a mixed opinion. But yeah, all the Harry Potter movies are phenomenal. I am currently rewatching them on. I think they're still on Netflix. I can't bloody remember. I've not been on it that much, but I started my YouTube channel back in 2015. Well, I said 2015. It was 2019 when I started my YouTube channel, but my Harry Potter wand collection, obviously all the videos I do, I started that in 2019. After I went to Universal Studios in Florida. Being a Harry Potter fan for a long time has always made me want to do YouTube videos. They're not the best, personally, but I'm not one person to like really care what people think. Really, I just get on with it, and that's the same thing. I feel like I think about people's opinions on the movies and books. Like, there's times where I disagree. Like, if you watch Movie Flame, for example, who's one of my favourite Harry Potter YouTubers, by the way. There's some things that he's like talked about, like, that are better in the books or movies, and like, he mostly goes on about the books. Now, personally, there's like a lot of things he goes on about the books that I kind of disagree with, because, as I've said, I'm more of a movie guy, and I think, as I've said, the movies do things better than things. Now, I'm going to get to this plot point. For this TV series, I'm going to talk about the TV series now. The TV series I've got a mixed opinion on. I feel like it'll be a good new fresh idea for everyone to enjoy, because it keeps the magic going. But at the same time, I'm not too big of a fan that they're making a TV series this early on. I think they should wait another till at least 2030, in my opinion, just because the last film ended in 2011. For me personally, I think it's just too early for a Harry Potter TV series, and it takes away the love a lot of people may have for the movies, personally. And I was watching a YouTube video earlier. Is it Brett's Thoughts? I think that's what the YouTube channel is called. Someone commented on one of his recent videos, saying that you can top the movies. I mean, yeah, I suppose you can top the movies, but personally, the movies wouldn't be a thing without the books, and I think the movies did a perfect job of bringing the magic alive, in my opinion, because you're not reading about it, you're actually seeing magic on TV, and it makes people invested. Personally, in my opinion, I think people became Harry Potter fans from the movies. Personally, because reading a book isn't the same. Like the wands would never have, Noble Collection would never have made the wands if the films weren't a thing. People are gonna like hate me for going on about all this, but nah, honestly, but I don't care less. I couldn't care less. But yeah, the TV series. I do want a TV series. I don't get me wrong. I think it is a great idea. So bear this in mind. So one thing there are things the films didn't do great, and one thing I'm going to touch on about that is, and tons of people go on about this, the Harry and Ginny relationship. That is one plot point. Personally, I think the TV series will do better. Personally, because the films just proper messed up Harry and Ginny's relationship, and personally, it was really cringe, in my opinion. Probably a lot of people might agree with me on that. There's other plot points I'd love to see, the the origins of the Marauders map and stuff. I think that will also be like a good plot point for the Harry Potter TV series. Like they never really divulge into that, and it's like in the film, for example, they don't really talk about Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs being Lupin, Lupin, Peter, James, and Sirius. They kind of just really gloss over that, and Harry just gets the map and uses it, which kind of contradicts in the Goblet of Fire, where if you hear background noise, it's just motorbike outside. But yeah, it kind of contradicts with Goblet of Fire, where Harry calls Peter Pettigrew Wormtail. So that's another plot point. I never thought I'd actually be talking about the TV series, to be honest. I really wanted to do a video on this personally. I might do like a separate video on what characters from like the books I would love to see in the TV adaptation. I'm gonna quickly just go on about a few. So I'm just trying to think of some off the top of my head, because as I mentioned earlier, I've not read the books for a while. For example, the character Daedalus Diggle, for example, he appears briefly in the first movie when you see Hagrid and Harry going to the Leaky Cauldron. If you go on the Harry Potter wiki, type in Daedalus Diggle, you'll know what I'm on about. It's only brief, but he's not a big character in the books, but he plays a part in like the Order of the Phoenix, and obviously he takes the Dursleys into hiding with the character Hastia Jones. Daedalus Diggle, I would love to see as a character. Ludo Bagman from Goblet of Fire, again, another character that needs to be in the TV series. Whether Goblet of Fire might be season 4, season 5. Personally, I think they could do they might be pushing it a bit, but I think they could do 30 episodes to see for the later seasons. Just then they can have the one season per book, because I think the way the books are, there's 7 books, 8 films, and a lot of the books from Goblet of Fire to the last one are that big. Personally, instead of doing 2 seasons, because it's supposed to be 1 year, 1 school year, for me, do 30 episodes a season, because you can fit everything in for 30 episodes, and you can just stretch it out. I'm sure people will watch it. Maybe the early books, the first 3 books, don't need to be as long. The seasons for the TV series don't need to be as long, but yeah. Anyway, so Ludo Bagman and Daedalus Diggle, I'd love to see his characters. Winky the house elf, which is the Crouch family's house elf. in the books. Goes into a lot of detail about her. You'll know from other YouTubers. I'm not really going to go on about that because, as I've said, I don't really read the books that often anymore, and I'm more of a movie person anyway. So, but I do look forward to the TV series because I do like TV series as well. So yeah, Winky the House Elf. Charlie Weasley is a big need for the TV series, definitely, because he doesn't even appear in any of the movies besides the brief little cameo in the newspaper article of the Weasleys in Egypt in the third movie, and that's it really. I think Bill Weasley, I mean, he is in the movies, but I think he should be introduced. He's introduced in Goblet of Fire, I believe, in the books. Yes, he's introduced in Goblet of Fire in the books. Again, I think Bill Weasley needs to be adapted as a bigger character. Same with Mundungus Fletcher, who is introduced in the fifth book, but doesn't appear in the movies until the seventh. So there are a lot of characters. Potter Crouch Jr. I'd love to see maybe a bit more of him. And the thing with Goblet of Fire is a lot of people hate that movie. Personally, it's one of my favourites. And David Tennant is one of my favourite actors just because I grew up with Doctor Who, with his era of Doctor Who, and when Goblet of Fire was released, I was only 2, so I never watched Goblet of Fire until I was about 4. But David Tennant, I thought was phenomenal as Boy Crouch Jr. The only nitpick I have with his character is the reveal of Moody being Boy Crouch Jr. straight after the second task, which kind of throws off the revelation really for me personally, because you see Moody do like the tongue flick, which Boy Crouch Jr. does, and then you'll see Boy Crouch Jr. do that exact thing, same tongue flick at the court trial of Igor Karkaroff in the movie, and then you kind of just realise that Boy Crouch Jr. is Moody. I mean, I didn't realise that until my second watch, where I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But book readers would not be revealed that Moody's Boy Crouch Jr. until the end, when it is revealed to be him. But yeah, so that's another thing I would love for like the TV series. A lot of people say like the Marauders backstory and backstory on Dumbledore and things like that really should be adapted. Personally, I like if they do adapt the books, I'm fine with that. There's not really much I can say that I really want them to adapt from the books. Like they adapt the books, perfectly fine by me. Peeves is another character that they should add for the books. Personally, if you don't know, there's a YouTuber, Ross. I can't think of his last name. They used to go by the name YouTube channel The Unusual Suspect. His channel is now The Suspect Green. He talked about the character Peeves, who was originally supposed to be in the Philosopher's Stone movie, played by the late British comedian and probably one of the most phenomenal comedians ever, Rick Mail. Stupid decision cutting him from that movie. I mean, even if Peeves was just in that one movie, I'd have been happy, because it's like if you ask a movie only watcher who's never read the books, and you ask what you thought of Peeves, they wouldn't understand who Peeves is unless they've read the books. So yeah, it's kind of, that's another. And Peeves is another character I'd love to see. Professor Binns, it's not really that big character. This is one thing. There's also a couple more characters that I would love to see, even though they're not that big characters in the films. There's a few Hogwarts staff members. Professor Septima Vector, who is the arithmetic teacher. Now, I'm not sure. Please, someone comment if she does appear in the books, because personally, I'm just going to mention Septima Vector, who is the arithmetic teacher, Aurora Sinistra, who is the astronomy teacher, who does appear in the books. I don't know which book she appears in besides the fifth one. Madame Irma Pince, who is the librarian, who does appear in the movies as a non-speaking character. Well, all three of them appear in the movies, but they don't have speaking lines. And they're not that big characters. But I would love to see. They're like, oh, and Madame Hooch as well, who only appears in the first movie. And yeah, there are four professors that I would love to see in the movies, and maybe see like classes in them with them professors, because if there's other professors at Hogwarts, it might. This is just like what I think. If there's other professors at Hogwarts, you should at least get like some little stories with them professors than just the ones we got in like the books and movies. Like, I mean, we do get a little bit with like Aurora Sinistra and I think Madame Pince in the books, but they should do like. This is why I said the films do a lot of things better, where they adapt characters better than they did in the books. There's like them Hogwarts staff members who I think they could adapt from the books personally and make them not big characters, but give them an actual like character to them at least. Like see some like classes, like the astronomy class. That'd be a cool little class to have. Like, I know it doesn't really play a part that much in Harry Potter. I mean, the astronomy tower is a big plot point in Half-Blood Prince. We could at least see like a little astronomy class in that book. Arithmetic, I'm not really that bothered about. I mean, it's just like the wizarding version of maths in thingy, so that doesn't really all too fuss. But like, I mean, the Hogwarts librarian, the amount of times they go to the library in the Harry Potter books, yeah, Madam Pince will be around quite a bit. You'll have to drop it. I love someone if anyone could drop a comment and tell me what books some of the Hogwarts staff members are in. Not like the main ones like Flitwick and Trelawney. I'm on about the four that I mentioned, because I know Madame Hooch, who's played by Zoe Wanamaker in The Philosopher's Stone. She does have speaking lines in that movie, to be honest. And I don't know whether she'd appear in any of the other books, because she only teach first years. I'm probably going to have loads of people tell me to read the books again. I'm just not really that invested in reading the books, to be honest. I've read them that much in the past, and you know, I'm just I'll watch the movies again, definitely, but you know. But again, back to the TV series, I think personally for me, I mean, they said 2026 might be the release date for the HBO TV series, and I mean, it's fine. It is fine a little bit, but personally, I think maybe 2030. I think would be a better point, because it like ends to 2020. It's like the start of a new decade. Mind you, it would mean we get Harry Potter in the 2020 decade at least, but I think because the movies ended in 2011 or 2011, I just think it's too early for a TV series in my opinion. But yeah, it's what people want at the end of the day, and like I'm invested to see. There's one thing I'm always I always think should be the thing with this Harry Potter TV series is like what they did with the films. They keep it British. They don't make it American. And I don't want to be rude to any American viewers. Harry Potter is British. It was written by a British author. Created, well, I say more. It's not really created by British directors besides like the last two, because Chris Columbus, who did the first movie, is American, and then Alfonso Cuarón's Mexican. So But yeah, Harry Potter has always been British, in my opinion. Like, I get Americans love the Wizarding World, and obviously you have the theme park, Universal Studios, which, honest to God, was phenomenal. Really enjoyed it there. It's a shame I wasn't really that big into YouTube back then, because I would have done like a massive YouTube video on that, but I didn't really start it till like late 2020, late 2019, early 2020. But yeah, it should just be English. Like, if you see it, like in the films, for example, I'm just going to talk about this. The way our um houses and stuff are in the UK, where we have like terrace houses, which is just like a long row of houses. Which, I mean, I live in a terrace house, so it's like a long row of houses, and there's like loads of streets with just houses on. Is like in America, I don't know, so I don't live in the US, but in the US you've got like houses like spread apart, and they're not like, you don't get houses like attached to one another. But yeah, personally for me, Harry Potter would not work in the US. I mean, at least the one thing that's come out of the US in like the Wizarding World, and I mean, a lot of people hate the Fantastic Beast movies, personally, but at least you get like a wizarding school and stuff like that. You get Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. That's better than nothing. Hogwarts is ours. That's ours. You can't have Hogwarts. But you get Ilvermorny, which is your wizarding school. And I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I've mentioned them now. The Fantastic Beasts movies. Now, I can see the controversy along them is that there's not really any books to base them on, personally. And I mean, the movies don't really follow the books, but the Fantastic Beasts movies, for me, I did enjoy them. I'm not going to lie about that. I enjoyed the Fantastic Beasts movies. I didn't hate any of them. I do think the first one is by far the best one. It's not my favourite. Personally, people are going to be shocked by that, but The Secrets of Dumbledore was my favourite movie. I just really did enjoy that movie, and it's a shame that they got cancelled, because it was supposed to be 5 movies, and I think not having the fourth and fifth Fantastic Beast movie kind of sucks, because we're now not going to get Dumbledore and Grindelwald's final fight, where Dumbledore wins the Elder Wand, which, because that happens in 1945, as The Secrets of Dumbledore is set in 1932, so it's kind of, if they ended it there, that's just it's gonna suck, really. That's just my opinion, really, because I mean, a lot of other people will have different opinions, but I would love to see like another 2 Fantastic Beasts movies. And I mean, the first movie was supposed to be. I think a lot of people hate them because they don't really have. Personally, for me, I think people hate them simply because they're written by J.K. Rowling, and I know a lot of the stuff that's gone on with J.K. Rowling and her like views, stuff like that, which I I'm so like worried about talking about that on my YouTube channel, because personally, I have to agree with J.K. Rowling on her views at the end of the day, and I don't want to go any further with that, because I don't want people being horrible or anything. People are. I'm just going to say this though. People are allowed their own views. It's a free country. People can say what they want. Doesn't mean you can hate someone, but they're allowed their own opinions at the end of the day. Whatever J.K. Rowling has said, what she said, she's allowed her own opinion. Just leave it. Move on with your lives. That's what I say, anyway. But yeah, I'm not transphobic. I don't really. But if people want to be transgender, that's fine. That's up to them. I'm not going to talk about any more about that. But yeah, the Fantastic Beasts movies, I would love like a fourth and fifth movie, even though they're probably not never going to make more movies, which is a shame because I would have loved like. I think one thing that people don't really like about it is like Newt Scamander being the main character for that for them movies. I can kind of agree with that. Like it's a character that's like mentioned like once, I think, in the books, and it's like why are you making a TV series or uh, why are you making a movie on like a character? But to be fair, I think personally, the Fantastic Beasts movies to me anyway, I don't think they are based on Newt Scamander's life. I think the Fantastic Beasts movies for me are focusing on the backstories for Grindelwald and Dumbledore. Now that's mostly the second and third movies, and probably the fourth and fifth if they were being made. But yeah, that's what I said. The first movie is sort of like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then I think for the second and third movies, I think they should have just done like drop the Fantastic Beasts title and just have like the Crimes of Grindelwald, or like maybe like the Wizarding World and the Crimes of Grindelwald or something like that. I don't know. They could have done. I just think the Fantastic Beasts name title should have just been dropped from the second and third movies, and they could have just named it something else. Because personally, like the Fantastic Beasts movies, just that first one that was released in 2016, and then Crimes of Grindelwald and Secrets of Dumbledore, just to me, they might have like Newt Scamander and stuff in them, but to me, they're like different movies. They're like backstories for both Grindelwald and Dumbledore. So yeah, and again, we're getting to Dumbledore. There's a lot of his backstory I'd love to see in the TV series. That I think that would be a great thing, and get to see a bit more of Aberforth. Because I think Aberforth is a big character in Deathly Hallows. I've got to be honest, but I'm sure he appears in more in like um, Order of the Phoenix book, and maybe like once throughout Half Prince. I could be wrong if someone wants to correct me. But yeah, I think I'm getting a bit of backstory for like the Dumbledore family, and you know, just personally, like if they, with the TV series, they can make it faithful to the books, but like what they did with the movies, I don't mind them adding stuff of their own, like accord, that maybe might make stuff a bit better. Because there are like some things like they could do for like the TV series, like tell backstories that J.K. Rowling didn't really add into the books, but they're relevant for like that character, like you know. And personally, I do think Harry Potter itself is just phenomenal, and they don't really need Fantastic Beasts in my opinion. And even if they did, um, at the same point, I do like the Fantastic Beasts movies. They didn't really need them, but they're there. Um, I enjoy them. Um, but I would have loved like instead of doing the Fantastic Beasts movies, they could have done maybe movies on like the Marauders when they were at school from like 1971 to 1978. Seeing like James and Sirius and Lily and Snape all growing up. A lot of that might be boring, but it's adventurous. Like Harry, Ron, and Hermione have all them like adventures throughout the first three movies, and then obviously the fourth one to like the last one, you bring Voldemort back, and he's like the main focus of them movies. But if you think like 1971 to 1978 in book universe anyway, you get the Marauders. They have like them adventures, and you do obviously see James, Sirius, Lupin, and Peter bullying Snape, which has to be entwined in that. But I think a Marauders, I think instead of like a remake of Harry Potter in TV series form, they shouldn't do that. They should do like they should keep the movies how they are, because a lot of people love the movies and some people hate them. But yeah, they've got the movies. They're adapted from Harry Potter. Some may not be faithful to books, but we have them. If they want to do a TV series, do like a Marauders TV series. Some people have even said do. I don't really think it will work. Do a TV series on the Hogwarts founders. I think that is pushing it a little bit. But if they do a TV series, they could do a TV series on like similar to Hogwarts Legacy, for example. Now, in the Hogwarts Legacy, the character you play as, you just name him after like either yourself, like I did, I named it after myself. But they could make like a spin on it where they make like a TV adaptation of Hogwarts, like the Hogwarts Legacy story. But that character's like got an actual name. It's not like the name that you give him or her, he or she or they, them in character form. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other TV series would be good. I mean, I think a Dumbledore family TV series would be good. I mean, they don't have to be like too many seasons. I think if they do like a Dumbledore family TV series, for me, I think personally like 2 seasons would just be like good enough for that, in my opinion. Like I said, like a lot, but I think because they are going along with this Harry Potter TV series. I've said that God knows how many times now. That means essentially what it is. They can make the main Harry Potter TV series, but I think alongside it, I mean, it's HBO that are making this, but alongside it, they could make like little sides. I won't say spin-off series, but I'd say a little side series of like the Marauders, like a small little mini side series of like the Marauders origins and the Dumbledore's family origins. If they're not in the books, I would make them separately in like their own series, because then you get a bit more joy out of them. So you get the main Harry Potter TV series, but then you've got like a little small side series to watch as well, like a Marauders one and Dumbledore family one. Maybe even have like a bit of Grindelwald in the Dumbledore family one as well, because I mean, seeing the duel between the 2 Dumbledore brothers, I mean Grindelwald, and then the murder of the sister, and would that would be great. Great. I'm trying to think. I've never been a big fan of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I mean, movie Flame. Has even said that himself. Morgan. Is it Morgan Ross? I might have butchered his last name. He's by far one of the greatest Harry Potter YouTubers of all time. Like, honest to God, I love his YouTube channel. If I was a big enough YouTuber, I'd love to collab with him. But yeah, he's great, and I love the fact that he just like shits on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, because honest to God, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I do not know why J.K. Rowling even wrote the screenplay for that, or even the book. Oh, is it a book or a screenplay? I don't even know why she wrote that. To be honest, it's just like a shit follow on from Deathly Hallows, in my opinion. I mean, the epilogue for me in the book, I think the epilogue is much better in the book than it is in the movie. I just think, you know, they don't really do it that well in the movies. Also, I have here with the castings for the Harry Potter TV series. Now, I don't know if they've actually chosen casting for the trio yet when they announced that, but there's one actor they've got in mind for Dumbledore, and that is Mark Rylance, who I know because he played the BFG in the BFG. That's all I really know him from, but I know he's a phenomenal actor, and I think he'd be a good choice for Dumbledore, since people have said Gary Oldman would be a good Dumbledore, and to be fair, like I wouldn't even mind if like some of the older like Harry Potter cast members came back. Personally, I know Daniel Radcliffe, like any of the trio actors wouldn't return if J.K. Rowling is working on the TV series. Yeah, as I said, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, I've heard like rumours that like Tom Felton and stuff like, and Tom Felton and Ray fans have like loved to return to play like other characters. For me, it's how they're going to adapt like Voldemort and make him look like he did in the book. Because personally, I think the way Voldemort looks in the movies was just much better than the way he did in the book. Anyway, that's as much as I'm going to say. I am going to do another YouTube video down the line where I like talk about what characters I want to see in the movies. I may even do a tier list ranking on that. That might be a good one. Like, if I want to see what characters I'd love to see in the movies and um, in the TV series, and go into a bit of depth with it. This video is going to get too long of a carry on, so I've rambled on a lot in this video, but I do hope you guys enjoy this. It is getting quite dark now, so stay tuned for the next video. I think the next video probably won't be till after Christmas. I might do another character breakdown between now and Christmas, because I like to do videos free. I don't upload like every week, or I try and upload when I get the chance to, because obviously I've got my normal job and stuff in the way. So that, yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I just wanted to share my thoughts and just talk a little bit about the movies and the books and the TV series and stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe if you want to. I'm not saying you have to. Comment. Um, some of the stuff I've asked people to comment. Please comment, because I'm eager to know. Yeah, peace out.